Are you dealing with relationship conflicts? Jesus provides a process that really works when you've been done wrong. Jesus said, settle it face to face. Good morning and welcome to the 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember sound bites versions of what Jesus said. The point? To help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew chapter 18, verse 15 through 17. So starting in verse 15, it reads, if another believer sins against you, go privately and point out the offense. If the other person listens and confesses it, you have won that person back. But if you are unsuccessful, take one or two others with you and go back again, so that everything you say may be confirmed by 2 or 3 witnesses. If the person still refuses to listen, take your case to the church. Then if he or she won't accept the church's decision, treat that person as a pagan or a corrupt tax collector. That's pretty tough. But the directions are clear. And he says do it face to face. Odds are you probably aren't a very good mind reader. I know I'm not. And Jesus said you should settle it face to face. So that's kind of probably the best way to do it. He gave us these 3 steps to deal with somebody who has done you wrong, and it all leads to reconciliation. Reconciliation is the key to relationship and belonging. Mind reading, thinking you know what they're going to say, or assuming the outcome before you try, isolates you into a us against them anger, fear, anxiety. If you don't deal directly with conflict, your own internal conflict will directly impact many other things in your life. So you think about it as a cooking recipe. If you want grandma's apple pie, you got to follow her recipe. If you want to have the reconciliation that Jesus says is possible, he says settle it face to face. If you don't follow the recipe, these simple commands of Jesus, you won't get reconciliation or the right kind of reaction to those who are against you or you have this disagreement with. And they won't respond the way you want them to. Mind reading will get you division, judgment, whispers, and gossip. Or if you want to put it like this, get you social media posts. The things that we all just say about each other without actually talking to them. The way Jesus outlined dealing with fault and conflict among believers in Matthew 18 does not include talking about people behind their back. It doesn't include going to someone else to talk about someone else. If someone wrongs you, the right thing to do is to go to them personally. Gossip is easy, but what Jesus said is better. Notice you can't follow this whole process unless you already belong to a body of believers, the church. So it's hard to do this on your own. The recipe won't work if you aren't committed to that long-term relationship with Christ, with the church, and with other believers. In our society, unfortunately, relationships are disposable. We can unfollow, we can unfriend, we can pick another church super easily. But if you don't deal with the real conflict, you just take all the internal conflict with you and you just repeat it wherever you go, with whoever you're with. The Matthew 18 direction is 3 simple steps in order. Unfortunately, most people jump to the consequences of step 3 without ever trying to do any of them. We automatically just write people off and decide that we can't be friends. So it says first you go directly to that person. Instead, you go directly to them and talk to them about it. And most conflict is simply a lack of communication or understanding. But if that doesn't work, you try again with 2 or 3 other people. And if that doesn't work, the very last resort is to bring it to the church. A group of Jesus followers doing life together. Then and only then, if it still doesn't work, the rules of a relationship need to change. This is when, you break that relationship or create some distance. Those are the steps. But here's the attitude you actually need to follow those steps. It's from Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 through 3. It says, dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. Share each other's burden, and in this way obey the law of Christ. If you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You're not that important. Reconciliation isn't about fixing each other. It's about helping each other to carry each other's burdens. It's about loving your neighbor, honestly. It's about loving that person more than your pride, your fear, your anxiety of what might happen. It's knowing that, hey, I love this person. I want this relationship to continue, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it work out. So the question you can ask yourself is, how can you put that into action today? How can you settle something face to face? Or if you have somebody that you're dealing with, how can you try to reconcile that friendship or relationship? Jesus gave you the steps. He said, settle it face to face. So thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it would mean a lot to me if you would like it, share it, comment, And I really appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember to follow Jesus today. And we always say, love first.